Go.
The following material contains strong language and adult content. Please be advised.
This is the Comfortably Poor Podcast, an uncensored, wide open, anything and everything goes podcast. You won't find anything like it. And why is that? Because the Comfortably Poor Podcast keeps it 100. Let's go.
Have you had my bowl of the day? So you guys are dealing with a sober Dan right now.
Okay, we are in for a treat then. In for a treat.
Oh, no. That'll change in a couple minutes. Don't worry. And that never lasts.
All right, well, you take care of that. Let's get to some quick business. We'll get that out of the way. Sunday Fun Day right here on Comfortably Poor Podcast. We changed it up a little bit. It used to be hashtag CP Chat if you wanted to chat with us on Twitter. But we found out the cerebral palsy people were getting tired of dick and vagina jokes on Twitter. So go ahead and just use the hashtag Comfortably Poor to chat with us on Twitter, hashtag Poor. We'll find that if you got questions, comments, anything like that you want to talk to us about throughout the show. The phone lines are live and open, 844-997-0775. If you're local in the States, 442-244-9900. And that should be it. Yeah. Hit us with your questions, people. This show's just as much yours as it is ours. So we love getting you guys' feedback, getting you guys' questions, and finding out what you guys want to hear and don't want to hear. So hit us with those questions.
We're back in live effect, baby. We're back in live in effect. Sundays, every Sundays we do a live. Dropping podcast episodes 3 times a week. Sorry about this week. We're just trying to get everything up and running on the social media side for you guys so that everything is kind of well taken care of on that front. The YouTube page is literally about to be taken care of, and a thing that you guys as fans can help us promote in the future. Adam has been working his ass off tirelessly to make sure that the YouTube page is up and running, and we're going to have all the episodes available up there and everything, so it's going to be another platform for you to check us out on, all right?
Week. So if you're a YouTuber, like you little teeny boppers are these days, and you don't want to listen to Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, any of that kind of crap, you will be able to find our
No, dude, they're like, why pay for it if I can get it for free on my YouTube?
Exactly. So we got you. It's coming. Don't worry. And yeah, so check that out. And please, I can't believe I'm a 37-year-old male about to say that, but hit that subscribe button. Smash that ring bell. Get the notifications because we need to get our subscribers up.
Put body heat on it.
Because we want to be able to hit that youtube.com/comfortablypoor. We don't want all that numbers and characters at the end. We want to get that custom URL, baby. That's where the money's at.
Yeah, custom.
So hit us with that subscribe button. Do us a favor.
Click
do us
it.
a solid.
So tell me,
doesn't cost nothing. Let's get into
fellas.
it. What's on the agenda for the day? Let's talk.
There's a couple things. First of all, this is the biggest news story this week. So to give some people the heads up on the stream, I got the morning show position on the FM station I was working on.
Officially?
And so obviously, yeah.
I know you were filling in a little bit.
Nice.
Okay.
I was just filling in, and they ended up giving me the position.
Dope.
But I laugh.
Voiceover off.
Because it amazes me how much work I need to do to scout out for news stories now. Every fucking thing this week was the goddamn coronavirus. How do you guys feel about it?
Right now.
Do you guys feel it's a hoax? Do you think it's
We were talking about that just a few minutes ago, actually. Yeah.
Do you think it's going way too far? Do you think people are exaggerating it too much? What are your thoughts on the goddamn coronavirus from the boys' perspective?
It's funny as
Dr. Drew said it best on a show that he was on, and that is, it is definitely a media-driven virus. I think it is a serious thing that we are dealing with, 100%. But for individuals who are young, healthy people, like most people are, if you just take the precautions and take care of yourself, you're fine. It is affecting elderly individuals. I don't think it's really an issue for kids. We haven't heard too many things about kids, but those who already have suppressed immune systems, things like that, elderly people, it is.
I'm starting to buy into the conspiracy theories, bro.
See, I know.
Starting to
I don't
buy
wanna
into
go
the
that far. I
conspiracy.
think it's a
I'm
legit
starting to
thing.
buy
I
into
think
the
it's a
fact
legit
that
thing.
there's no name, not one fucking name of any of these
So you think it
motherfuckers
was
that have died of this shit has been
virus that
released.
was made in a
Wait. Back
in a
up. Hang on.
laboratory.
Wait. Can I hear that again? Say that again, Dan. You don't.
Not
The
one
names-
name of any of the victims in the United States has been released. They're just giving us age ranges and if they're a male or a female.
But isn't that
What
a
is
right?
that?
If the family
is
doesn't
that-
want their name to be out
Yeah.
there, they don't
Bruh,
have that out
I need to know if I interacted with this motherfucker. If it's this serious.
To hoax.
No, not a hoax, but more so like they're drawing this up, and I feel like they're making it a bigger deal than what they need to.
Well, they probably
That's all
are,
I'm
but
saying.
I think that's,
But I obviously-
part of the media's job. Like the media does that. They
Sure.
make things a much bigger deal. than
Sure,
that.
but
I
yo, no
definitely
names, not
don't
one
think
fucking
it's-
name of any person that died, not one. We've had 12 cases in the United States, not one name we know, and all of them, like what if I had an interaction with this old piece of shit at the restaurant in town a couple days ago?
Town buffet.
What if I fucking shook some hands? What if I, was dealing with cash as a bank teller with a motherfucker that had, like, all these things, when how much shit that's being passed around every fucking day, you're going to tell me you're not going to put out names so that people can look and see if they've interacted with this person or not?
So if you're
Come
on
on,
the
bro.
conspiracy theory train, what is the reason? Is this like natural selection? We're thinning the herd? Like what would be the
I
reason?
really-
I guess, yeah.
No,
what do you-
my biggest thing, I don't have any conspiracies about that. I think this is a distraction for the election. It's just really weird that this happened at this time.
So you don't
I think that's what they're trying to
any
do
of
is try.
these estimated 3,000 some odd people that have died or whatever the number is. You don't think that
There's
any of
over
these
100,000 people that are affected in China.
Who's the puppet master though? Like, if this is a distraction
China.
for the election, is it China with a G? Like is it?
What if China was trying to interfere in our elections and not Russia?
Let me wait, hold on. Let me drop this knowledge on you. Let me drop this on you because this is what I came up with the other day. And maybe it's already out there, but I haven't heard it. Me and my lady were talking about this. And my theory, where it's not a thing? What country?
Where's that?
At least we haven't talked about it. It hasn't been talked about.
I mean, I
Nobody
would
knows
say
about it.
it's not a thing in probably
North Korea.
a few countries.
North Korea doesn't have it. South Korea's infested with it. What if this little rocket man has created, and it is a real thing, something created by Little Rocket Man? And
I like
the
that
rest of the
conspiracy
world.
too. I like that conspiracy.
Well,
Right?
I mean,
North
see,
Korea
conspiracies are
doesn't
fun to
need it.
draw
There's
up.
Nobody sick in North Korea.
And I'm not
well,
specifically
there are
just
quite a
saying
few reasons as to why no one would be sick in North Korea. But you do have an interesting point. I mean,
they're all sick already.
It is conceivable to think like let's say that fucking dude launched himself a biological weapons program, and let's say this is the result of it, and he wanted to test it out on mass population centers. What's the easiest to get to? Go right over the Yalu. Why not? It's actually pretty workable in a way. It's just that the fact that there are no sick people in North Korea. I mean, it's a hermit kingdom. Like it's very hard to get in North Korea, let alone get out. So that, and I guess in a way that kind of makes more sense, right? So if it has gotten out, it was probably more likely either deliberately done, probably either deliberately done, or I would say like maybe it's just something, geographical selection maybe changed something. Antibiotic resistant flu, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's actually pretty reasonable conspiracy, to be honest, Adam. But as far as like China doing it, I don't know, bro. I feel like if China was actually going to interfere with our elections.
Well, then the other part of this too is like, so there is the laboratory in San Diego that has claimed that they came up with the vaccination in 3 hours. So what kind of
Yeah.
Well, so they said that they've isolated the however they come up with these vaccines and stuff. They isolated the like strand of this coronavirus, and were able to isolate the formula and determine what needs to be done for the vaccine. And it took them only 3 hours to create the vaccine. Now it's going through all its processes, and they hope to have the vaccine by like early summertime, middle of summertime or something.
And
like
it's
that.
going to cost like a motherfucker.
The other side of that is like, is it really a thing? Or are they like, if it is a thing, why did it take them 3 hours? Like,
well, it could be a test run. If we're really gonna play in conspiracy world, and we're gonna try to stick with reasonable conspiracies, in North Korea, or let's say it doesn't have to be North Korea. Let's say Iran. We have enemies, right? Let's say an enemy of America. Let's say, if following that line of thinking, if this could be, just how are they going to respond? How do they respond? How quickly do they come up with a vaccine for something easy? What's their process? And where is the vaccine developed? If we were really going to take them out, we might want to take out the place where vaccines are made, or the testing's done. It could be, some sort of probe, but a lot of that information's already known, and you don't necessarily need to do something like this in order to, test the defenses of the United States. We've kind of displayed them before, but I don't know. But I think, like I said, people like China and Russia do things with much more finesse. This strikes me as kind of brutish if it's done by an actual actor, like as opposed to it being natural or an accident or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if this was intentional, this is kind of.
I'm not saying, and I always like to fuck around with conspiracies. I just thought it was really weird that we don't know any names. That's all my point was. And I think we should, if this is that bad, where people are dying so fast from it and all this fucking shit, and that they want to play it up like that in the media, you will at least give us some motherfucking names, bro.
So you're saying just people in America, or are you saying Americans in general?
Well, I'm just going to say Americans. Well, I'm going to say people in America so that we can, in our news, in American news, just like in China, they should be given names in Chinese news. I think people should be aware of who has this shit.
I mean,
you feel me?
I do actually. Yeah, I mean, I get
like what if your homie had it and you didn't know? He was found out that he had it, but you didn't fucking know, and you didn't know that his name was one of the names.
I'm not sure exactly what the SOP
and you're traveling
is.
Brando, going somewhere else, fucking shaking hands with other people and teaching kids and doing shit and then spreading it around another state.
Thank you for saying that. I'm glad you said that. So here's the thing, right? Because of what's going on right now with the coronavirus, it has actually been taken quite seriously. And like I said, I was about to say, I don't know what the actual the exact SOP is for this sort of thing, right? If it's as serious as the media says it is, and it probably isn't as serious as they say it is, but let's say it's fairly serious. They should know who your family are, and they should know who your friends are just by researching you. They should know you. if you think your fucking smart speaker spies on you, you have no idea what happens if they actually turn their attention fully on you. So I'm pretty sure they would know that, and they might fucking interrogate, interview, and just quarantine everyone just on GP. Who knows? But I think that what's going on, prices are changing and like, you know, like on travel sites, things are actually dropping because no one wants to travel. People are actually staying in. There's a ton of fucking
festivals
respirators and those fucking masks pretty much anywhere where there are large crowds
South by
of people,
Ultra, the big EDM festival Ultra in Miami is canceled this summer.
Wherever there are large crowds of people, people are wearing these masks and shit. And so I say that for this. However serious this may or may not be, I'm not going to put like people at risk, and I'm actually going to put myself, not because I feel like I have something, but because like being here in New York, it seems to be an area where you know what I mean? Like there have been some cases, more than one or two. And I'm just gonna lay low for a bit, which is okay. But it is, I think it's something to take serious, especially like you said, traveling me.
I'm gonna say not taking it serious, but the fact somebody made a point of this on Twitter. The fact that now in our lifetime is the time when when things are, you know, cleaning supplies and disinfectant products are pretty much sold out. Somebody was like, I'm afraid to imagine how dirty your fucking house was before this fucking corona scare.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Because it's real shit.
That was facts. Yeah.
Yes, bro. These nasty ass niggas really don't take walking out of the bathroom, you know, with your hands washed seriously. And I saw it time and time again at work. When I used to work in Washington, and all these fucking retards would come fucking rolling out of the bathroom with their not washing their hands. And I'm telling you right now, I would call them out. I would call them out every fucking time. That's a nasty motherfucker right there.
Yeah, low key, but a lot of this shit too is someone was telling me about how disgusting it is to eat in China, and that's kind of one of the problems. Like a lot of it has to do with the type of sanitation that is just unknown to most Americans. Like
why?
You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about in food storage facilities.
Parts of Asia are super clean, and other parts are dirty.
The super clean parts,
dirty parts, but like Tokyo, isn't Tokyo like super
no,
clean?
Tokyo's known for that. It's known for that in the world. I'd say the difference is pretty much the differences in any location. Most of those unclean places are poverty stricken areas.
Okay.
You might even call them more traditional. You know what I mean? Up until like the 90s and stuff, maybe even a little bit later, there were places in Asia where people had never seen electricity, and they thought it was like witchcraft and shit. You know what I mean? So like very isolated places up in mountains, or maybe in some sort of like isolated desert or what have you. But usually the more modern and, yes, even more Western influenced places are going to have the technology. They're going to have the electricity. They're going to have the sprinklers. They're going to have the fire systems. They're going to have better police departments. People are paying for it, either with tourist bucks or, you know what I mean, exports, imports, whatever the fuck. And usually even in China, they have places like that. And they're typically around the coast, you know, where lots of people are. It's an overpopulated country, too, which lends to poverty. But what I was talking about specifically was a lot of it was unclean eating conditions, unclean food storage areas, markets where the same food gets set out day after day, even if no one buys it. You know, they're not going to let it go to waste very easily. A lot of food isn't covered or protected at all. It just hangs up in a window. It's not something that we, again, like I said, in America, we're if we saw a lot of the markets and stuff in China, it's like that's how you know you're not in America, because we don't we don't do our food like that. And living in close proximity with animals, another, you know, we do it differently than they do. Our animals have their own pens and shelters, and they're not wandering around as much. A lot of the animal, you know, their shit gets into drinking water sometimes. And it's easy to, fester and grow antibiotic resistant shit in areas like that. But if someone's saying that this came from an actual laboratory, well, that lends.
Well, that was the story like a week or so ago, right? Somebody was saying that there was
that it broke out. It broke out in a laboratory that they were testing out some bullshit. But see, here's the thing. You asked earlier, and I meant to address this. Brando, you asked earlier about, Adam, you asked why it took about 3 hours to make this vaccine. Why was it so fast? Because this is just a fucking heightened version of the goddamn swine flu that was big around 2008. Yeah. So that they can fucking distract you from that election.
But yet, this is the subject that everyone's talking about, but the actual influenza is currently still killing more people.
Yeah, it is. That's a true story.
It is.
So,
yeah.
Why aren't we talking more about just the regular
Yo, that shit kills about 50,000 a year, bro. 50,000. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
No, I think the reason we're not talking about it is because it's not interesting. It's not that interesting. The coronavirus is interesting. It was released from a lab in China. We don't know where it really comes from. It's killing lots of people, even if it's not necessarily the mature and able-bodied of our population. It's spreading. It's spread from one country to another. It's not stopping, even if it is, we've got the vaccine. It's not out yet, obviously. And it's popping up amongst us. People it's a threat. And honestly, no matter however bad this may or may not be, staying home actually makes you safer. Yes, I'm actually concerned.
We're talking about it now, but are you guys concerned?
No, I'm concerned about it. Yes.
What about you,
yes,
Dan? Like, you're the one who's kind of on the fence about it, like conspiracy stuff. Like, are you taking extra precautions right now?
I don't know if I'm taking any different precautions that I normally would. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, if these motherfuckers are saying that masks can't help us, oh well, if we come in contact with a motherfucker, yeah, it's concerning, and yeah, I might die, but like, what can you fucking do? No vaccine for it. There's nothing out for it, so I'm not gonna fucking live my life every day stressing.
I guess that kind of a follow-up to that. So it's no secret here that Dan is our weed expert, if you want to call him that. He is not a big secret. But, the weekend comes through, you got the homies over at the house. Are you all passing the same blunt around or the same blunt? Like,
I don't want anybody in my house.
Those times, like, where have they?
I was just
during the coronavirus. I don't want anybody in my house during the coronavirus. Don't come over.
While this is happening, we'll go ahead and suspend all visitation. Fuck it.
Yeah.
No, but
dude, I become old and grumpy
about the mask.
I don't want people in my house. I'll go to your house.
I'll go to your house. The mask is not going to help you by itself. You need the particulate respirator. You need a specific type of respirator.
Well, they said
the mask
is more for someone that actually is contagious.
You should have the mask and the respirator both.
The mask, you aren't the one that should
you need both.
If you don't,
you need both. You the respirator goes inside the. I would say, well, this is the way I'm approaching it. I'm approaching it whether or not. I'm assuming everyone has it. If I'm going to be out.
Are you going to wear the mask as the healthy person though?
The mask. We have some of here. What we don't have is that fucking respirator, and that's what I need. And that's another concern. Like, I might have to travel without that.
This guy wants to go to a full-on respirator. We're
gonna do this.
He's gonna be traveling around with the like a sleep apnea machine.
Bro, I've got children. I'm not playing dice with this shit now. But it is a concern. So yeah, I think I would recommend everyone.
I don't know, man. I haven't washed my hands differently. I've washed my hands just as much.
Planes and buses, wear both.
That's the other thing. They say you're supposed to wash your hands, sing the happy birthday song twice. I sing the happy birthday song yesterday,
there's other 20-second songs.
There's no way I'm singing the happy birthday song twice. Like, that's like a minute. I'm not sitting there washing my hands for a whole minute.
No, there's other songs you can do. You can do Lose Yourself. one all the way through.
What?
If you're
Like the
happy and you
Eminem
know
song?
it,
Yeah, loose.
yeah.
See, and my lady said the ABC song. Like she was taught you sing your ABCs. Like when she was a kid in like elementary school, they were taught to say your ABCs, and when you were done, then you're done. Wash your hands.
It's amazing how
Like I'd rather do that.
stuff has changed, or not changed, but like how everybody had their own way of teaching and shit. It's so wild.
Facts. On the topic
amazing.
of kids, and if you want to comment on the coronavirus, give your 2 cents about China, this shit that's going on with the coronavirus, anything like that, 844-997-0775. Hashtag comfortably poor on Twitter. Chat with us there. Local in the States, 442-244-9900.
I want to give a
Come
shout
across
out
this
real
video.
quick, if you don't
Go ahead,
mind,
yeah.
bro.
Yes, sir.
I'm giving a shout out to the homie Kwaku. He is
I saw that.
he is a radio he's a radio guy. I love him. He loves radio, has been a fan of it for a while. Lost his sight later, so he fucking stuck to radio and going to college for it. He had me on his podcast. He heard me on Elvis years ago, and we struck up a friendship through Twitter. I've been following his moves. He's been following my moves, and he had me on his podcast this week. So check out
How old
Quakes
is he?
and Friends.
I listened to that. How old is he? Is he your age?
He, I don't even know. A little early,
Sounded
maybe
young.
23,
Sounded like a
24.
younger kid. Okay.
Just a couple years younger. Nothing crazy.
Right.
But yeah, man, he had me on. He let me promote Comfortably Poor. He let me tell my story about Elvis and how I linked up with the show. So it's a pretty decent podcast if you ever want to know a little bit how much I love radio and how much of a nerd I am.
Facts. He's a big nerd. Big fucking
Yeah,
nerd.
man.
Like he's.
But you were gonna talk about kids. What's up, bro?
All right. So, and I asked Brando this question before we went live, and I'll kind of tie all this together. But I came across this video, and I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but you'll get the gist from this video here. And this kid is nuts. He is wilding out right now, and you'll see what I mean when I play this video.
Got him. Thought I was stealing. Goofy. Looking dumb. Nigga, stop playing with me. Nigga, looking dumb. Stop playing with me. Nigga, I ain't had nothing in my bag. You sound crazy, nigga. Pocket full of money. Nigga, not how dumb do you look. Not look at him. Say hello to the live, sir. Here, look how dumb you look, y'all. Look how dumb you look. Looking stupider than... That nigga looks stupid. Just dumb. You look pitiful. You look pitiful. You look pitiful. Because you think me and my mans were stealing? You look pitiful. Pitiful. Look at you. Look. You look so stupid.
Whoa!
Oh.
Do you believe how dumb you look right now?
Great.
You look so dumb. Really? You look so
Yeah, I know, right?
This nigga crazy. You look dumb, nigga. You look stupid. Look at him. Thought I was stealing. He ain't even got nothing to say.
Okay, enough.
Ain't got nothing to say.
Enough.
All right, hold on.
Okay, stop.
Hold
So if
on.
you didn't get it this already, this kid was taken into the back room
What?
because they thought he was stealing. But turns out, I mean, if you didn't know already, he didn't have anything. He wasn't stealing. But they thought he was.
That is
So-
okay, now that I didn't catch on.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He
Now-
wasn't actually.
That makes
he
me
didn't
look
have-
at
he
it
didn't
a
have
little bit differently. He didn't do it.
He didn't steal anything. No.
So a little okay.
But they
so,
thought he was stealing. He had a
Sam in the YouTube chat says that's the
Holy
kid version of me.
that was
But
wonderful.
this is from
Oh,
reading the
man.
comments. They say, obviously I can't see the video, but they say this kid probably looks about 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
Not a big kid. He obviously doesn't sound that old.
Yo, look,
Is this kid doing too much here? Is he in the right? What are your thoughts on this? Should he chill out a little bit? Like, what's wrong with kids today? Like, okay, let me give my 2 cents real quick. I would have slapped the shit out of this little fuckhead. I wouldn't have stood for this for nothing. Like,
right.
this little kid would have got a 2-piece real quick, just bap, bap. Shut your little punk ass up.
Bitch.
Just like, dude, I'm not. I ain't your daddy. I am gonna slap the shit out of you. Or maybe your daddy should slap. Your dad's probably in prison. Whatever. But
Yeah.
he needs to get dealt with. Like, this kid is nuts. Like, I get standing up for yourself and having your rights in, if you didn't do anything wrong, put a dude on blast. But this kid took it too far. Like,
Well,
come on, bro.
do you remember
you're too
the
much.
Do you remember the climate thing, the climate change thing, where they had the 16-year-old girl up there fucking going on and like pretty much
Greta
telling the how
whatever
the
her name
people
was.
who were in charge of these sorts of things were inadequate and they needed to start paying attention and start listening and wake up and all this other stuff. Pretty much, you can say that in a way. Like, there's always a way to say something. Oh, let me put it this way. There's always a better way to say something, I guess. You know what I mean? Even, like you said, they're standing up for yourself. And then there's just, you're not, at the age, and so at 16, why are you talking down to adults? At 9 or 10, why are you railing at adults? To me, when I see stuff like this, I know just from experience, just me anecdotal, and watching people. It's human nature. He's seen this somewhere, right? Like this is something someone modeled this for him, and this is how he handles situations. Where
He probably sits on YouTube and watches body cam video.
yeah, like
all day
or maybe he watches said father do the same thing. Or maybe he watches his mom.
He wouldn't have done this.
Older
he
brothers
wouldn't
do
have
this,
done
right?
this if
Like,
this.
that's
And
what
this is why
about.
I fucking am strong about kids not having technology like that at that age, because it gives them this feeling like they can show out because of a victory, right? So, like, my biggest problem here, and let's all be honest, that kid wouldn't have acted that way had he not had that phone and that camera
No,
and the possibilities to go
No,
live.
no.
He
No,
knew
no.
straight to
Okay,
the-
that was a performance because he knew he was
definitely
live,
it was definitely a performance.
and he knew,
Yeah.
and he knew, because that's what little kids know nowadays. They know that if they're touched or even approached by another adult, that adult is fucked, and it's caught on camera. And it was a performance thing because he knew nothing could happen to him at that point because of the fact that adult would fucking be in trouble, face charges.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Have to fight the parents, whatever the case may be, once that video was seen. Period, point blank. So now you corner people with this fucking technology. Adam, I agree with you. I would have slapped the shit out of that kid. But guess what would have happened to me? Me slapping the shit out of that kid on camera.
You're gonna go to
Well,
jail.
it depends. It depends.
I'm
on a
going
lot
to
of
jail.
things. You could actually. It could be a lot worse than just jail. Like, okay, look.
For sure.
Here's the thing. Long before technology, long before YouTube, long before even AOL, AIM, LiveJourn, all of these things that we view now as social media, especially the whole live option, kids were doing shit like this. This is, like, so far as I'm concerned, this is a parenting issue. This is a very bad model. That shit right there, everything that he was doing is stuff that we see people say all the time. We see adults do it to each other constantly. This is not new. The first time I saw and heard shit just like he was doing, I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. People do that in the street. It's called punking a person. He's punking someone. A 9 or 10-year-old was trying to punk an adult, obviously. Now, that is, I don't give a fuck when a person gets an iPad, a phone, any of this shit. That's not, you don't have to do that. Your kids don't have to turn out and do that sort of shit. Mine doesn't. Mine don't.
But adults are doing it, bro. Adults are doing it on World Star.
Adults are doing it. That's my point.
And that's my
They're
point.
being-
That's what I'm
they're being
saying.
Modeled, they're being modeled for it. But I wouldn't accuse. I wouldn't blame it on
Absolutely.
the technology, though. I would definitely say, though, that the technology lends to it, because now, like you said, it lends to the whole idea of, let's fucking punk this person. And now, in this day and age, you definitely can probably get away with it. The other side of that is that where I grew up, young kids did really bad things. So I wouldn't just think that I could just fucking deck a 10 or 11 or even a 9-year-old just because, he was fucking talking shit. But at the same time, the impulse would be there to fucking crack him across his jaw. You wanna fucking talk like an adult? I'll treat you like an adult. This is what happens to adults.
You're gonna get treated like an adult. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Which is never
100%.
a good thing, because this hyper maturity shit. No, it's not.
So,
it's
question:
not good
that
for
was to the
either
cops, or
mind.
that was to the?
I think
To the clerk.
He was like I don't know exactly where he is. He's probably like a rent-a-cop. I don't think he's an actual.
And I
Probably
only
just a
asked
basic
because
security
it's
guard
like,
that hangs out outside the dollar store.
guard.
see, and that's bullshit. That's the bullshit right there, right? And we, and this is why I fucking hate social media and cameras and videos, because of how misleading it could be. Because, guys, we just have done stories on this show about 6-year-olds getting handcuffed and all the stuff. What if this video started at a point where we didn't know what he was doing, and the video starts where they're wrestling him and he's saying this stuff? We're going to be like, oh, yeah, the cops are doing what they're supposed to do. It could be framed in so many fucking ways that it's just like, this is why I hate this shit. The access to this shit makes people go crazy, and kids are catching it early, bruh, with technology. They're catching it early with having capabilities of video and going live.
Need to catch it early, either with birth control or parenting classes. Like there's just certain things you don't allow your kids to be subjected to. There's certain things you can't help, but you wonder why. Like, you give a person, no matter how young or whatever you're giving that kid, you wonder why I'm a proponent of like monitoring them so closely. I think that technology is definitely a help, and you can't avoid it. But this is why you monitor it so closely. If my kid was ever watching anything like that on YouTube, I'd know about it. I know the game she plays. I know her ins and outs. And I'm going to know them until I don't have legal responsibility of her for reasons just like this. And it can just get worse. It's not like you said, adults do this. Teenagers do this. People get shot on Facebook Live now. So it's just...
That was a thing that was happening way too much a couple of years ago.
It was happening quite a bit, brother.
Facebook
It was happening quite a bit.
It was
But no,
crazy.
So this brought the question to me that, and towards the end of this video, he makes a comment, and this is the question that I came up with. So at the end of this video, he says, "I can't wait for my grandma to show up here. I can't wait for my grandma to show up here." So, and call me a racist, call me whatever you want. I'm not, but it's facts. Kids are products of their environment.
I know.
And this kid is most likely
1,000%.
raised without his parents. His parents were young and dumb. Maybe they're drug addicts. This is all assumptions. I get that.
In jail. I'm going to say jail.
These are things that are common. These are common stories.
He's obviously being raised by his grandmother, and he's just getting started, people. He is just getting started.
That's my whole fucking point.
He's going to
Grandma has her
be... Yeah,
hands
man.
full with this one. So, with that being said, what are your thoughts about children coming from single mom, single dad lifestyle, which we all are. We all are all three of us are children are
Yes, sir.
raised by a single parent versus a individual that was raised with mom and dad both in the house. What are your guys' thoughts about how these individuals turn out, don't turn out, things that they maybe miss out on? Are there lacking stuff in social settings? What are you guys' thoughts?
I see. So I've always seen with the mom and dad situation, and I respect it, is this sense of gathering and structure, right? Where if you like that, if you see yourself settling down with the same person, having the same, going back home to your kids from work every day and living that kind of life, that's for you. And I think there's something to that. with being raised by single parents, I'll break it down to this: you're left to your devices. So you, as they are trying to fucking make ends meet, work, do whatever they need to do to make some money to feed your ass, you have access to TV, you have access to radio, you have access to the streets. And now you're learning street smarts. There's a little more focus there, I think, when you have structure around you to when you actually have to figure it out on your own. And I think that's the major, from my perspective, I think that's the major difference from both of them.
I think when you're talking about, so typically the child is going to mimic the behavior of that same-sex parent. So you have varying
yes
results,
and no, bro,
especially-
because there are some girls that are turning out with
this is part
that
of the
have
reason
mom
I
and
said
dad.
typically, right? No, this is part of the reason I said typically. I mean, there's always every situation's different. So like the whole concept of structure is absolutely true. We've got research that points in the direction of people with both at least parents involved. They don't necessarily have to be living together. Living together makes the structure tighter.
Right.
It makes it more dependable. But at least having both parents involved and having an active role in that person's life, they typically stay in school longer. The boys, especially because of the testosterone, we think mostly, do better in, not getting into violent, struggles or anything like this, fights, stay out of jail, all of the crazy things that we kind of see the precursors to in that video. A lot of that would be mitigated if his dad was there. And this is what I'm talking about typically. The same-sex parent follows the model. And another thing, too, is we see this from all sexes. We see this sorts of thing from all sexes. But most of the sort of let's talk shit, let's get in each other's face and eventually fist fight that can lead to worse things, that's a male thing. It's a predominantly male thing. We profile based on that. And so this kid who, dialects abound, but it sounds like he's black, is going to be gifted in a lot of ways. And one way is he's going to have higher testosterone probably than normal. That's going to help him in a lot of ways, but he's going to be fucking crazy. He's going to be fucking. Why? Are you, whoa! All right, that's.
You get it. You get it.
I know what he's saying. I know what you're saying.
No.
I'm not going to shit on you.
No, Adam, you know how it takes me a second to change gears.
He's black.
I'm grinding.
He's going to be real fast.
Yes, he's going to be shredded. He's going to be athletic. But that causes problems because that same thing makes you quick to temper and makes you quick to anger. And if you don't have a person to help you how to,
he's going to be the leader to break through a store during a riot.
Now, hold on. I say that to say this. I don't think there's, like I've always said, I don't think there's some sort of a right or wrong to any of this. So I don't think, being in a structure, being in a marriage is always the best thing. I see just as many fucking kids turn out of, marriages as fuck-ups as I see come out of single households. And I've seen fucking brilliant kids come out of single households. You know what I mean? And I think we might be three of the exceptions when it comes to statistics, maybe. But the ultimate thing is, so far as I'm concerned, I think you need a healthy environment, whether that or a healthy environment and a structured environment. I don't think you can.
I agree.
You cannot have a structured environment just because you're a single parent. You
totally
can have
agree
a
with that.
structured environment. You just have to work that much harder. And just like you said, being left to your own devices, you tend to have to struggle maybe, 10 times harder sometimes in certain countries. Like you said, in the Dominican Republic and Colombia, you've seen kids get left alone while their parents go off to work because they can't afford a babysitter.
And I think it speaks to what's happening though here in the States, right? Where the younger and younger the parent,
in minority communities especially,
the more there's never going to
impoverished
be. There's never going to be structure.
Unless you make it, unless you make it.
That's
and
where
this is what I'm saying.
Your form of structure.
Even if you aren't in that person's, the mother or the father of your children's life, you need to be involved in that kid's life in some way. You need to have an active role. Like you'd be surprised at what a text every day would do. They don't even have to respond to you. Even if they don't respond, get that fucking text in. Like it's weird to me when I hear about people that are not involved in their kids' lives. Like I don't understand how you don't have that connection. It is such a strange feeling to me, and the strange thing to hear about. Like, yeah, I wanted to do it, man, but so and so stuff. Dude, nothing's gonna stop me from being with her mom could make it as difficult as possible. Lock me out. Gonna die for it? You're fucking right. I'll die for what I helped create.
So
it's
okay. So let me. All right, I haven't like a follow-up question, but structure. Brando, you've mentioned structure. Again, as I said before, we were all raised by single parents, single moms. We basically were raised by single moms. I did a lot of stupid shit. I fucked up a ton. Like in those middle ages, that like 12 to 17, 18, whatever. Like, the years when kids are supposed to kind of start acting out. Yeah. So,
rebellious years.
But as I got older, I guess there was this, I was able to look back and knowing that my mom did her best to try and raise me, there was a lot of like, as I got older and matured more, what can I do to turn my fuck ups around to make her proud? Like as an only child and being raised by a single mom, I worked harder. I tried harder as I got older to make it right, to not just be a complete fuck up, because I know that my mom did her best as a single mom to raise even just one child. And I didn't have any structure really. Like my mom still did her wild stuff and things like that. And obviously I shared stories. Like I partied with my mom in those years where I was acting out. So the structure thing like just wasn't there. But I figured it out myself as I got older. Like this, I can't keep going this direction. Like if I keep going this direction, it's going to end bad. So I have to figure it out. And my mom doesn't want to see me, like no parent, as bad of a parent as you might be, no parent wants to see like negative stuff happen to their child. They still care and love their child, even if they're not part of it, their child's life or whatever. So it's like, I always just tried harder once I got older to like make that parent proud. But let me add this into the mix. So single mom or dad, but having multiple children in the mix, or having multiple children with both parents in the house. Like so now there's like a balancing act, right? And I think you guys both come from multiple sibling families. So what is, I guess it's the single parent side. But
so like
what did you guys see from that? Because now the parent is like trying to figure out the attention to spread the attention across the children and stuff like that. Like where does that factor in? Like we usually see
again, that's I think a lot of that is being. Right? I think that that's being a lot of having access to your own devices and understanding that there's going to be a sharing factor there, right? So like there were things, and still to this day, that my brother and my mom watch together.
Right.
They'll sit on the couch and they'll watch, a certain series or whatever of a show that they've been watching together for a long time, And then my mom and I have our movies and things that we'll sit on the couch together and watch. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think it really is just knowing that there's that stuff there. And again, not being high maintenance, because I think that people try to, when we speak about this stuff, we make kids sound like like they're super fucking high maintenance. There's so many things you can do now. And they are, but there's so many things that they do to distract themselves.
Right.
That could be a positive thing.
Well,
you know what I'm
technology,
saying? Like,
yeah, that's the problem.
and that's what I'm saying.
I mean, the thing I think,
but technology
with
can
kids-
be helpful.
You know, technology can
You
be
know what I'm
helpful.
saying?
I think it all can. You know, everything in moderation. I think. Like I think
Absolutely.
that's the rule. But out of these, like one thing, I mean, and that's to Adam's point, pretty much like the other side of that single parent coin. This whole thing, like, and Dan can probably attest. He kind of was just now about there's a really thick atmosphere of close knitness. You know what I mean? Like Family's emphasized in like single parent homes especially where there are multiple siblings. You're always taught to we're all we have. We're all, we need to protect each other. We need to stay close. Like we live in these walls, you know what I mean? This sort of thing.
It's very true.
Very tight. Very tight. And
so you're saying that, and we see TV shows and movies and all this kind of stuff make fun of it today. Comedians, everybody talks about it. Like kids today are so in their iPads, in their iPhones, in their Xboxes, PlayStations, all that kind of stuff, laptops. The mom comes in, dad comes in, whatever, dinner's ready, kids just doesn't even look up. Or it's like, kids run face first into a wall.
Again, but
because
so
they're
that's
always looking down.
so that's more so just on the kid, because that was TV before computers were huge, right?
It was also being outside.
They would be watching a
being
TV show.
inside was interesting.
Exactly, and I was about to say that too. So
That's
it's also
ignoring
about
parents.
the fact that there's no kid playing outside anymore. Part of, because of the fucking fear that the media and has put into people that, they're kidnapping kids, crazy and wild. And it's like, dude, it's funny though. I want to address something you said, Adam, because, my mom really tried, especially in the later years, to set up some sort of structure, the best that she could, being a single parent of two. And I think it was so weird because it was a conflicted thing. My mom was nowhere like hood type, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mom is a fucking well-spoken white woman, white-sounding woman. Until she speaks Spanish and she sounds full-blown Puerto Rican, right? So there was that, and then there was my niggas in the street.
Right.
And I was balancing like two different lives. Like I had my hood nigga mentality and the shit that I was doing that my mom doesn't really know about, to, me coming home being the fucking radio nerd technology kid.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So there was that.
So let me ask
I think,
this
and that
real
was because of where I grew up, because of having technology at my fingertips and my local
and
radio.
we've talked about this a
whatever,
little bit too. Like Northeast was quite a bit different. Jersey lifestyle's quite a bit different from out here on the West Coast. So there's definitely a different lifestyle there. So we talk about technology and kids with their technology. And getting back to kind of what Brando, I think you made this comment earlier about how it used to be, before technology was a thing and now there's technology and stuff like that. Do you think there is a benefit to taking the technology away and forcing kids to go outside, or having those family dinners and things like that?
1,000%.
Okay, but wait, because when I was out, in the 90s, before technology was a real big thing, that's where I ended up getting into most of my trouble. I ended up meeting older kids. I hung out with
dude.
Kids.
Yeah.
Way more that caused me to get in trouble. Yeah. So if you just put me on a laptop so I'm learning some things from watching some videos, is that better than actually being out in the mix? Like that now there's a whole nother
That's a great question.
Of the real world.
That's a
What am I
great
learning
question.
from the real world versus online?
So it's this is the thing, right? I would say, again, parenting. Be involved. First off,
Right.
balance, right? If we're gonna talk moderation, maybe you go outside at afternoons on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Pick your fucking days. Another day, other days you have iPad hour. You know what I mean? Or it could be a daily thing.
Right.
Whatever it is,
Limiting it.
limit everything. Limit even going outside. Maybe there's a day only for chores. Maybe you do chores every day. Whatever it is, like, you should be playing some major decision-making roles in how they spend their time, especially in the single-digit ages, right? I mean, when you get into the double-digit ages, that changes slowly, but like in their single digits, you should definitely be controlling how they fucking pass time. And you can definitely find things they like in all of those areas: chores, technology, school, education, just being outside, being with friends, external hobbies like sports or whatever the fuck it might be, gymnastics, dancing, whatever the fuck it is. And pretty soon the iPad is just kind of a piece to a puzzle that's a lot more beautiful and complex than just a fucking tablet.
No, I agree with that. I mean, if they are going to be out of the house, there needs to be something there. There needs to be something of substance, right? You got to monitor a little harder now.
Yeah,
just because of the but
be in their business.
But you know what? More so than anything, if they are going to be out of the house, make sure you're putting them in places that is not only helping them grow and teaching them some shit, but the ultimate fact is where they are. You can call somebody if so like you said, gymnastics, some type of music academy, some type of some shit. Put them in places where they can learn and do shit, and they can generate friends from those things.
What kind of homo shit is that?
No, because we have daughters.
That's awesome. We have girls.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh, but by the way, there's nothing wrong with doing gymnastics. I did gymnastics when I was younger.
I know, it's jokes, people. Jokes.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, Adam.
Adam.
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Yeah, Adam.
Why?
What are you guys doing for my birthday next Saturday?
Drugs.
Not a goddamn thing. I'll get you
Did
some.
you say drugs? I love you. I'm so glad you said that.
I'm doing intoxicants.
Yeah, I'll drink for you. You want to throw your 2 cents in on anything we've talked about so far? Coronavirus, parenting, children, all that kind of shit. 844-997-0775. Local 442-244-9900. Hashtag comfortably poor on Twitter. Use that hashtag. Chat with us. Ask your questions, comments, whatever.
Peach gin.
Just with it. Yeah, what are you doing for your birthday? You got a birthday coming up less than a week away. What's on the
Fuck
agenda?
nothing.
All right.
I don't do shit.
Getting stoned.
I do the same shit I do. I'm gonna buy pot.
Pat.
I'm gonna I'm gonna pat. And I'm gonna get super stoned for
Pot
like
is
10
such
minutes,
a 1970s
and then hate life.
It's my go-to word. I love calling it pot.
Dan actually made me like that word when he was making fun of me.
Yo, pot is the best, bro. Pot's the best.
I didn't even care about that word
By
until
the
that
way,
day. That shit was
weed.
funny. That was great.
Yo, shout out to Nessa on YouTube.
Who?
Who's showing love today. Nessa.
Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already on YouTube. Please. Appreciate you.
So I think that's Brando's friend. So shout out to you. Thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
We saw Hannah in here earlier.
this?
I know Sam is watching. Shout out to all of you guys.
Yeah, shout out to the...
Shout out to the ladies.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Nessa's a lady, right?
Yeah, man.
Nessa's a lady.
Yeah. Shout out to the females rocking with Comfortably Poor Podcast.
Hey!
CP.
Yo, where's your homie at?
Who? Or are you talking
Your
about?
homie that we met yesterday.
Oh, he's here. He's here. Keith.
Yo, put
Keith.
that nigga on the podcast, bro.
Keith. Hey,
He's a fan. He's a fan.
Come have a Yeah, he didn't meet Keith.
This nigga is a character
in
and
the
a half,
studio
my
right now.
G.
Yeah, he's coming to the studio.
Yeah, you know, he's
go
a
ahead,
character and a
talk on
half
the
right now.
microphone For a few here, they wanted to have a chat.
Hey, what's going on? I can't hear him. Yeah, let me get
Oh, he's got.
yo, hi, I'm Keith. Nice to meet you. Hi.
He sounds like he's an extra on The
Hey.
Sopranos.
Nice,
going on?
nice to meet you, brother. How are you?
Yeah, good. Chilling. Just got
Yeah,
back. Just
what do
got,
you do?
How
many kneecaps have you broken?
Construction. Oh, no.
Oh, you do
I can't
construction.
do that. Yeah, I'm in construction.
Quote unquote, he's in waste management, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. We bury people. We do cement. Everybody.
Shovels are your best friend.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Yeah,
I don't even know what we're talking about. So tell me,
that's fine.
you
What's up?
born and raised in New York?
Yeah, born and raised in New York. Pretty much. Then I moved to Texas for like 3 years when I was like 21, 22. Did that for
You
like
hated
3
it.
years. Hated it. Although it's real
Yeah.
cheap to live and all that craziness. And then then just moved back and I've been here ever since. Got into construction when I got back and here I am.
Where'd you grow up? Brooklyn?
I grew up in Queens. My father.
You grew up in Queens, okay.
Yeah, Queens, right by Shea Stadium, where it's now Citibank Field, where the Mets play.
Listen, I definitely went to. I'm from New Jersey. I went to Shea as a kid, and I was just talking about how much I loved Shea Stadium.
Yeah.
I went to City Field a couple years ago, and it was so commercial. It just felt like it was this money-making machine. It didn't feel like an old-timey ballpark.
So you live that close to Shea Stadium. Are you a Mets
yeah.
fan? Are you a baseball fan at all? Or
no, I'm a
did
Yankees
you fall
fan.
into the Yankees pit?
Yeah.
No, I'm a Yankees fan too, but my family was Mets fans.
Yeah. My
Stick with the winners.
grandfather's a big Yankees fan. You know, he met Babe Ruth when he was younger and all that craziness. So I guess he's just been a Yankee fan
Wow.
and all that craziness. Yeah. So that was
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Cool. What are you guys up to?
Yeah, you sound like you've gotten into a lot of fights in the city.
No, I try to stay away, you know, and I try to keep it, nowadays, keep it easy, you know.
How do you know the homie Brando?
So I flew to Chicago to go pour, some cement out of it, whatever, some job that was there. And then basically I was flying back out, flying back home the same day that I flew there. So I'm, at the airport, whatever, early, and just sitting there, whatever. And then, I don't know, I was kind of just sitting there, and then they were ready to board the plane, and I guess Brando got up with his cane, and I was like, oh shit, whatever. And then, whatever, got on the flight, this and that, got off the plane. It was just ready to go home, just working around the clock. And I noticed that Brando was asking, like, one of the gate agents, for a hand. So I just walked up to him. I said, I got it, to everybody, who he was talking to. And I said, let's rock and roll. So then I started bullshitting with him and this and that and whatever, and got him set up, did whatever. And then,
Became fucking homies.
yeah, and then it became homies, the craziness is, so he wanted to, plug in his phone and get whatever situated because he had a delay before he was going to DR, I think. So, and I was like, all right, you're all set up, whatever, nice to meet you. And then I walked away. I took like 5 or 10 steps, and then I was like, you know what? I needed to turn around and give him, get his number and stuff. And I just had a funny feeling that he'd be my boy right off the bat for forever.
He's a homie,
So I
man.
couldn't walk away without like getting his number and keeping in touch. So it's family from that point on.
I'm
It's
glad
just
you
that
did.
simple.
And listen,
Yeah, me
man,
too.
thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We wanted to bring you on
Thank you. Yeah.
to
It's all
to
good.
thank you
Yeah.
because we just fuck around. It's just
This
three
is pretty
homies fucking
big
around over
because,
here.
like,
So
live guests, bro. Live guests.
yeah, I like that shit. I like that shit.
That's pretty fucking cool.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna
I
rock
like
and roll.
that.
All right.
Take care, man.
Nah, that's fucking awesome, bro.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no.
That was awesome that you
Airport
guys just
stories,
met
bro.
in passing in the airport.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
Everybody knows it, and we know it. Brando is a traveler. He is not staying in one place for a short, for a long time. Really, unless it's with his daughter. But damn, this dude just talks to everybody. Like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't talk to, like, when I travel, like before I met my lady, when I was traveling on my own, don't talk to me. Don't say two.
That's so funny.
I hate you.
And
I don't like
hasn't
you.
it changed now that you are the talker to people and your girlfriend and your girl's not?
Yeah, she's definitely keep to herself, and I'm like, I want to talk to people. I'm a little more outgoing. I mean, I'm still a little more reserved, but I'm definitely more the social.
So here's the deal.
She is. So
I feel like for example, like I got a number. I don't know if I can fucking say this. I made a friend when I came here to Denver in November. And he was somebody at the airport, and he was a homie, and he became a homie. Like I got his number because he was gonna be my Shrooms Connect.
oh, okay, it's always good to have one of those. No going back now. You said it. You dropped the bomb.
I don't know who. I didn't say any names.
Don't worry.
You know who works in that Illuminati airport?
Microdosing's different.
Have you heard of the conspiracies of the Denver
underground-
airport?
Yeah, the underground.
The underground bunker,
Yo,
the underground city.
listen. There's a guy.
Is it a
right?
bunker or is it a city? Isn't it like they say? It's a
Well,
city?
I think it's a city, but you know about the horse out front, right? The devil horse.
Yeah, there's like upside down shit on it, and like if you look at it a certain way or something, isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Guys,
fucking
listen.
bullshit. I love it though.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know I've done like streams that were informative about this on Dabble, but this was, and I probably talked to you guys about this. Do you guys remember the Lord Stephen Christ?
No.
No.
Yo, listen.
Oh Jesus.
No, listen, bro. Dude, yes, this is live. Okay. The Lord Stephen Christ is this guy who thinks he's Jesus. He changed his name, I guess, and he went crazy after his mom died in some sort of airplane crash on 9/11. And he started proclaiming himself to be Jesus, and he's got like all of these teachings. He developed some sort of, or at least he thinks he's developed some sort of online occult following. Anyway, there's this really crazy fucking interview with one of his followers. And the guy is just talking about how like there's an underground train that goes from North America that's supposed to start at the Colorado airport and go all the way into the Pacific Ocean to Australia, where there's an underground military base.
I have heard about this actually.
Yeah. Dude, yo, we, all three of us, need to sit back and just do some fucking commentary on that one day. I don't know what day that'll be.
This is an actual video?
No, this is an actual interview. Yeah, it's a 3-hour, 27 deranged fucking interview where this guy is just... And he's talking... Dude, he's apparently growing breasts so he can serve his master. He's turning into a female. Dude, he
What? No. Nah, bro, no.
He's just trying to be able to beat his dick a little easier. Like, there's no way.
Now I know Brando watches shit to tell himself he's the shit. That's the only reason why Brando watches shit.
Yo, if I got into some cult following and the dude was like, yo, you need to grow a set of tits for me, I would be like, I'm out on this one. Rain check. Let me go find
Wait, bro.
Where's that Kool-Aid one? I want to go find the Kool-Aid one.
Yo.
So he's got...
Take these beat
I'll go homeless.
Be happy.
So
I will become a bum before I have to grow some titties for somebody, bro. I'm telling you right now.
That's awesome.
This motherfucker believes he's living on the inside of the earth. We live on the inside of a dome. The earth has a glass ceiling. The sun's not very far away. And chunks of the ceiling fell into Libya. I don't know. He's got a lot of crazy shit going on. Anyway, I think it'd be really cool.
We'll have to break it down and see if we can take the best pieces and then do it on like one of our next lives. We'll dissect what this crazy bullshit this guy talks about.
Yeah. There's a shorter one. Part 2 is shorter than the 3-hour one. Maybe we should cover
Part 2?
Somebody needs to just do the cliff notes of the interview.
Dude,
I guess that could be us.
It's better to
to
listen and be
bullshit.
listen. It's better to listen and be reactionary. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So I wanted to get a quick update too.
I can skip around.
I just thought
Nessa,
this was
real
funny.
quick, I want to
just
shout out
recently-
Nessa
Yeah,
in
go
the comments. She said, "Why go to clubs or dating websites when you can just hang out at airports like Brando?"
Facts. That's his way.
It's very true. Have you guys? Do you guys have any really cool stories of people that you met at the airport before we switch gears here? Because that's a great question.
I was not making a bit. Like, don't fucking talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. The airport.
No, I
stinks.
definitely have
It's
talked to some
people.
really fucking cool people, and the most memorable was a woman who was headed back to Iraq.
Oh,
And
an
so we
Iraqi or a
had
military person?
No, she was in the military, but she was fighting.
Okay, savage. Cutting throats.
Savage.
I will say I'm not against talking to somebody if they're sitting next to me, like on the plane, because look, you may be next to this person for a couple hours. Like most of the time, I put my headphones in, but if someone sparks up a conversation with me, I will chat it up with them, and that's pretty standard. I have no problem with that, but in the fucking seating area and waiting and shit like that, I don't want to talk to you. You got bratty kids running around, old farts. Just nah. I don't got time to talk to you. I'm doing shit on my phone. I'm being a 9-year-old kid with my face in my phone. Like, just don't talk to me. Like, I had a pretty cool. Like, I've sat next to a couple of, like, doctors, and I guess I'm always interested in that kind of shit. So, like, I was sat next to. Like, a
No,
heart
dude,
doctor
I get it. I'm that
and
way
shit like
now.
that.
As I've gotten old, as I'm getting older and crankier, I'm literally on my phone. I'm watching political videos. I'm browsing Twitter, listening to podcasts. Excuse me, guys.
I do it. I mean, if I'm in a mood to talk, I talk. If there's interesting people, they talk back. If they don't, then it just
No, dude. I had a.
But on,
I
will say
had
that
this
on long
one
hauls
driver
over the
in.
ocean. No, just
I love Missouri. Missouri. I was introduced to this guy named Mikey Bones, and I really wanted to have him on the
Holy
podcast because Mikey Bones told a story to somebody I know about how he fucked a deaf girl, but he was in a band. And he used to open up for big bands like the Chili Peppers and shit like that in the 90s. And I would have loved to have some stories from him. But I'm going to tell you right now, him talking about or hearing the story from third person, from another person, about him fucking a deaf girl was hilarious. And I would have loved for him to tell that on the podcast. So I totally understand why it's really cool to talk to some people, because you'll meet some fucking incredible. I met a fucking book writer as an Uber driver, and she had published books and shit, and she was doing her thing, and yeah, it's really cool, man.
Super
Like,
successful. She's driving for Uber. Her books. Have
no,
done
dude,
well.
so many, dude, it's crazy. It's wild how many people do this shit just because they want a little bit of extra money. I remember I met this girl
Or because they're fucking bored.
who was driving.
Yeah.
She was driving a fucking Benz. She was 24.
Yeah, dude. I've got.
She had her own house.
a couple of times.
She had her own house. She had a great fucking job. She just wanted to fucking drive around and make a little extra money. I was just like, what? What?
What were you
How?
gonna say
What? You
about
don't
meeting
need it,
people,
but
Brando?
you know.
No, I was
And
just
then
gonna.
we're gonna go to the phone lines because we got a phone call. But what were you?
The other
gonna
thing
say?
I was going to quickly say is that, like, on long rides over the ocean, you'd be surprised at the fucking person you're next to, like, and they just start asking. A lot of it just, how did you do that? Because my screen's black and I'm fucking my fingers are flying, and that starts just a conversation that just.
Well, yeah,
doesn't
you've
stop.
done the Australian flights, so
Absolutely.
sometimes you
Yeah.
don't really have a
choice. Yes.
you don't really have a choice but to talk to the person
No,
next to you.
no,
Yeah,
dude. They're damn near on
unless
top
you just
of
want to
you.
sit in
It's-
silence for 17 hours. Like, yeah, that's
No, it was funny. Never mind. Yeah. You make really good friends. Let's put it that way. Sometimes you don't though. I mean, dude, on really good flights, they've been half empty, and I've got my own row to myself. My only friend was the flight attendant who brought me what I was asking for if I asked for anything.
yeah. Let's go to the phone lines. I believe this is our good friend Sam. Yo, you're live.
Hello. It is. You were right. You were absolutely right.
How's everything?
Thing down. I know.
What?
How's everything? And he's trying to pat himself on the back. No big deal.
We love our alt-white Adam. It's actually really funny that Brando mentioned the row thing, the getting to spread out all in one row, because the story I was actually about to tell you was about the one time I got to do that. As you guys know, I went to Tokyo a couple weeks ago. I want to go back really bad.
It's
great.
interesting that coronavirus
but-
broke out when she got there.
No, you know what's even funnier? I got sick in Japan.
Oh, you
And
brought
the
it back to the
cold-
States.
I did.
Okay.
It's fucked up.
My mom was like, don't act sick when you're at the airport. I'm like, Mom, I'll be fine. But honestly, the American airports were really fucking lax. All they did was ask if we went to China. We said no. We were on our way right into customs.
China?
China. So,
China.
I need
Real
to
good
find
friends
the
with
video
China.
of the bass player.
Real good friends.
I need to find the video of the bass player for you guys who was just playing notes through a compilation of Trump saying China. I'll send that to you once I'm off the phone because it's hilarious. But I'm on the flight there, and actually same thing happened to me as did to Brando. Half of our flight was empty, so our wardrobe girls for the show and I got to spread out through the whole row, and we each took up 2 seats. But behind us are these 4 people, 2 guys, 2 girls. They're being loud from the get-go. Like, once we got on the plane, like, they were the stereotypical loud, drunk Americans. So
I resent that.
they're like, oh, no, you're going to love this.
You're Irish. You got big balls.
You're going to love this. All right. No, I can deal with loud Irish people. Loud Irish people are fun. But fucking these guys, right on the plane, we haven't even taken off yet, and they start asking for drinks. So I happen to catch them, one of the guys going, "Do you guys have any champagne?" And the flight attendant's like,
That's the guy I'm sitting next to.
No. And he goes, "Well, we're celebrating our life anniversary. We're polygamous." And then
Jesus.
I find out, this gets better. And then I find out they're going to Bangkok.
That's just a good word. So hold on, wait.
I was like, I know that starts out as a bad joke, but I swear to God, it's true.
So you guys have you have been around. You lived in New York. You've lived in Seattle, Denver. You obviously traveled
Yeah.
sometime. So you just made the comment, sounded a little judgy if you ask me, that the people were asking for drinks before the flight even took off. Is that a bad thing?
It is when
God damn it.
you ask 12 more times in the span of 12 hours. It had to have been more. I swear to God, every time
It's a drink an hour.
I paid attention. Hey, can we have another beer? Can we have another beer? Can we have another beer?
Spoken like a true pothead.
They finally were like, the flight attendant finally goes, we're sold out of beer. All we have left is Miller Lite.
That works.
Like, I was like, how many fucking times are they going to ask? And then their toast to each other was, here's to a really great trip. Here's to no fighting and no drama. And I was like, oh, you're setting yourself up for failure already.
Man. Yeah.
It was so
I would have so
funny.
many
It was
questions.
just-
Like, if I was sitting next to a polygamist,
I did.
I would have so many questions. Like, I would just go,
I did.
questions.
Yeah, you best believe I would be
was-
talking to him
I
just like
had-
you see. That'd be a person I probably would talk to. I'd be like, "Yo, have you? I mean, like, have you ever lined up two pussies together and
Had I
seen what they
not
look like
had,
smiling at each other?"
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
they were like,
I don't know. I
two
asked that in a
dudes,
nicer
two
way.
chicks, and they were like,
Two dudes.
right?
two
They were
chicks.
like sleeping on each other. They were talking about sleeping
That's
on
one
each
too many
other and
dicks.
shit.
sleeping on each other.
I would have asked questions. They were like, "Oh, we just I watched you falling asleep on Haley's shoulder," to the one guy or whatever. Like it was just funny. It was just.
Polygamists or polyamorous?
Had
So
I
wait,
not
wait.
had 100 milligram edible before I left, I would have asked a lot of questions.
Jesus Christ. Mother of
Oh, yeah.
Fun flight. She was flying while flying.
No, it
Dude.
didn't actually get me that high. It only got me to sleep.
Now,
which
that's
is what I wanted
scary.
it to do, but it didn't. It didn't,
It
get, me
didn't
that
get
high.
you that high. Okay.
Humble
All right.
brag about her tolerance.
Yeah, right?
The receptors
No,
are
it
burnt.
really-
the receptors
like
are
a
burnt.
lot- I
I'm telling you.
need-
I don't want
No, they're
those
burnt. They're burnt.
receptors.
I
wanna-
need
I wanna
medical
keep mine.
edibles, bro. I need medical edibles.
You guys are nuts.
It's kind of a fun word to say, medical edibles.
Medical edible.
Medical edibles? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good warm-up. Thanks.
Yeah. Awesome. Appreciate the call, Sam,
Pussy
as always.
words. Medical edible.
You rock.
Love you guys. You rock.
Take it easy.
Speaking of polygamy, multiple couples, things like that. Let me go find this.
I want
other
a couple
video real
women.
quick.
What'd you say?
I remember telling my mom that a couple years ago.
What
all
did you
jokes
say?
aside.
Can you repeat that again? I didn't hear you.
I want a couple of women. I jokingly said that, but
Okay. Okay.
no, I was kidding. I was
He's
kidding.
got-
But
there's a
I remember-
little bit of truth behind it.
no, I tried it. It doesn't work.
Because he got caught.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
No, but
Because he got.
more to that. I remember telling my mom that a few years ago. It was the funniest fucking thing. I told her that in like 2015, 16. You know, I was like, Mom, you know, I'm thinking about like having like 3, 4 women, you know, so they could just like be there and just do everything I need them to do. And if one gets tired of it, the other one can fill in. You know what I'm saying? So if the bitch don't want to, you know, we got one for laundry, one for the meals. You know what I'm saying? All of them could fuck me, but like one is bound to be down to fuck me one night. You know what I'm saying? Like 1 out of the 4, statistically, right? So
Okay, so look.
So
This is-
I remember telling her this, and she was like, "Okay." She was like, "Take four." Say it was like, take your one worst relationship, And she was like, multiply that times 4 and tell me how you would be able to deal with that. And get back to me.
You'd have coming from both sides. Okay, so here's another video, and there's some interesting tidbits in here. So let's talk about this. And if you want to join us, 844-997-0775. Hit us up with your questions, comments, anything like that.
Yes, oi.
Does he know that?
I feel like, of course. Let me tell you something. If my nigga not getting bitches, it's a problem.
So you bringing bitches home for both of y'all?
Yeah.
When was the last time y'all had a threesome?
What? I'm not answering that. Anyway.
They want bedroom details.
Wait,
I
what?
feel like, and this may sound very old school, but I am old school. I feel like women do not have the right to tell a man that he's only to fuck their pussy for the rest of his life.
You said women do not have the right to
I
tell
don't
men.
feel like that. I don't, for real. I really feel like my man has the right to fuck other bitches as long as I can fuck them too.
God bless her. God bless her.
I had to process that shit, bro.
She on to something.
So my
I had to process that shit.
God bless her.
So my
They don't serve
okay,
that
but look,
Chick-fil-A.
my question to
no.
the ladies. I have a question. Do you guys really think that a man is built to fuck one vagina for the rest of his life and really be happy and never cheat on you?
Why? But before y'all answer, why are you
Yo.
He has a long time before, most of the time before they get married. You have the rest of your life before you decide to settle down to be with multiple women. But once you're in a relationship, you decide to settle down. Yes,
I just
you
don't
need to
believe
be
in
one person.
monogamy
That's
for
what
a
marriage.
man.
You don't.
That's what marriage is. I don't think that a nigga could ever love you if he's.
But that's not
you're
true
dealing
though,
with
because
somebody.
you have Muslims who get.
Okay, so they're just giving their own thoughts to her.
Okay, they're giving their takes. Okay.
So, thoughts. What do you guys say? She's on our side here, fellas. Like,
Well,
she's giving
yeah.
us the green light.
well,
She says,
I've always
you heard it.
I've always said this, and then people always, the response from feminists are, oh my God, you're equating pussy to food at a restaurant. But I always say, imagine if you had a restaurant that you went to and they only had one thing on the menu. You would get tired of that thing on the menu.
What if it was one really good thing, though? What if it was the
I
best?
can't believe that
of
anybody
that one
would
thing?
appreciate the same thing every day when it comes to food.
What if that was
When it comes
the
to food.
best soft taco you've ever had?
no, because eventually it would get boring.
Eventually, you're going to
Would
want
it?
to switch
But
up. You're going to want to switch
say,
up.
I would
Period.
say,
Point blank.
I would. I mean, that's just me. But hang on. Let me just say, like, I think that if that's the type of relationship that fits them, that's what they should go for. But you remember when? I want to circle back to kids for a second, and you'll see what I mean. Do you remember that story I was talking about? I don't know if we released it yet, where the South American the tribe, where they would the women would have sex with everyone. The men would have sex with all the women. They weren't monogamous. Within that tribe, they were all having sex with each other. And they were having children and branching out. Sometimes they might take new people on, but mostly they were having sex with each other and having kids and stuff. And no one knew who the father was. So they all just raised the kids kind of like as their own. Like there was no actual specific mother, father sort of thing. So to say that, like, largely the reason we have sexual monogamy today is fear of diseases. Humans are not naturally monogamous. Humans have never really been naturally monogamous. Monogamy is something that we've learned to do and adapt to over time. It's even outgrowth of what we might call civilization. And there are obviously psychological reasons. But a lot of it is person by person, and it's also the society that we're raised in. If you grow up in a polygamous sort of environment, you grow up to have wives, and they grow up to know that sister wives, that's perfectly normal. That's their normal. But if my chick wants to fuck other chick, I think at this point in my life, I would be down for something like that. But it would have to be discussed at the beginning. It couldn't be something that just happens. I think,
For sure. It
in
can't
the
be something
middle
that
of a
just is
relationship.
introduced.
Yeah.
It has to start off
It
that
has
way.
to start off that way. Yeah.
1000%, bro.
I think so. But everything that I say is tentative. You know what I mean? Like, when I was younger, I was totally against this sort of thing. I was like, fuck open relationships, fuck the whole. I didn't have a problem with anyone else doing it, but for me, I was like, fuck it, no. But I've grown now. Now I'm like, I leave the door open for something like that. But I feel like in my bones currently that it would have to start off that way.
Sam says in the Facebook or the YouTube chat, I don't think men believe in monogamy. And then she said, but y'all conveniently forget that she said as long as she can have them too. I don't think
No,
that.
I heard that.
Heard
I
that.
it. That was clear. That was part of the.
I
benefit.
just-
That's fine. That's great.
But I also believe that that's like something that has been kind of glorified within the last, I'm going to say 12 years. So, and I say that because like, it was definitely for the longest time, a lot of like women were just jealous. The standards and expectations. I remember when Olive Garden wasn't a fucking fancy restaurant you took bitches to.
Yeah.
And then it became a popular chain. You see what I'm saying? It's so crazy how things like devalue over time. And so same thing with this. Like now, women are fucking pointing out girls' fat asses to their dudes. Like, yo, you see that girl's fat ass right there? And it's the same thing. It's like that's the type of interaction. I feel like that interaction has been definitely glorified.
Is it glorified
within the last
or is
12?
it kind of coming out into more of an open sort
I don't
of
think
thing?
people were willing to do that, dude. I remember hearing the scope, the phone calls that would go into being morning shows, and everything was this. I can't believe he even looked at a girl. I can't believe he fucking. He says something to a girl that's.
And here's the thing. That's still a thing today, right? Like that's still a thing. It's just the way I see it.
Not as
personally,
hard,
just-
bro. Not as committed or not as hard.
Well, no. Here's the thing. This is the way I see it. When you start, first off, we didn't always have this whole sexual revolution, and I'm not talking about sexual revolution like in the '60s. I'm talking about the whole bisexual, LGBT, Q. Now I know my gay BCs, this sort of thing. Yeah, I think that has pushed a lot of this girls pointing out girls and guys getting with bisexual. Girls wouldn't even admit stuff like that before. Before that was bad. That was you're going to hell.
True.
Like you were taught
True, bro.
It's fine for people to actually say that you're girl, and it's hot because it's given guys that highway to be like, no guys fucking my girl. It's just me and another girl and a couple of girls. That's that's a harem. What do you mean? Fuck yeah,
I think
for it.
The ultimate what this really comes down to is that it's. And this is going to sound really corny, but what it really comes down to, it's the trust between you and your partner. It's the way that you guys communicate. It's the trust. But going back to kind of what Dan was saying, with dudes being able to say, "Yo, check out her fat ass" and all that kind of stuff, and then the female would be like, "How dare you?" slap him on the arm or whatever. Like, if a girl is comfortable in her relationship with her man and puts all her trust in him, and
she's gonna agree or be like, "I've seen fatter."
She's gonna be like, "For sure,"
or "I've seen
exactly.
better."
Yes,
or
yeah,
or "I've
She's
seen
gonna be like,
fatter."
"Wow,
Yeah,
look at that girl over there. So it comes down, if you don't fully trust your partner, then that's when the problems are really going to start occurring, and I think that's where men and women both can sense that. So if you don't have full trust in your partner, let's say a woman doesn't fully trust her man, a dude's going to pick up on that. And if he's really about the relationship and is into it, he's going to do his best to he's probably going to try to fix that. But if not, he's going to start fading and he's going to look for pussy somewhere else. But he's still going to keep coming back to your pussy. And it's going to keep putting that doubt in your head. And then you're going to be like,
security,
what's going on?
pussy.
You know? Yeah.
Like, number one, pussy is security.
Yes.
Like, there's always security in the fact that I'm always going to be able to hop in there when I need it. Now, I have a question to ask you fellas, because I put this tweet up this morning.
Bring it.
And I wanted to see what you felt about if you remain in a relationship, if you were in a relationship and you already were there, you already are invested, you've invested so much time, and their sex drive decreases, like from what you were used to, obviously, right?
Right.
So that to something that happened, whether it was surgery or whatever, that led them to not be able to have sex. I feel like, she's got to have a friend that's got to take one for the team. That's got to let me, dump a few off in her. Like, so you have to, give one to charity. Let her take one for the team. And ain't nothing gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? She's just my little fuck tool.
Do you get a pick? Do you get to pick the friend?
I mean, yes and no, because obviously she's gonna want to have to do it, right? Like we can't just pick a girl and be like, yo, she's the one. But I definitely want to have some say in who I'm fucking for sure. But do you agree? On a joking level and a serious level.
No, I agree. And
if you want the relationship to last.
Well, here's the thing, right? I think if you're going to be, look, you started out in a relationship, sex was great, it decreases. What are your needs? If your needs aren't being met, then I don't think you need to stay in that relationship. It'll be, maybe you can modify it. You might be able to change things. But other things are going to have to change, too. I don't think you should stay in a relationship unless, of course...
What are we talking here, though? Are we talking the diminish happens, you're in your 20s or you're in your early 30s and the diminish? Are we talking you hit that 50-year-old mark and shit does start to diminish?
Bro, I'm talking 20s, 30s, bro. I'm talking 20s, 30s.
I thought that's what I thought he meant, all of a sudden, some sort of crazy accident.
Like
today. Rabbits in your 20s and then... At 22, 23, 24, you're fucking like rabbits. And then 26, 27, 28, you've been with this chick for, a couple years and shit starts to slow down.
Slow down or stop? Because I thought stop. In my head, maybe I'm
I want to say stop. I want to say stop.
Yeah, that's what I thought I was hearing.
Because if it declines... I don't know. I definitely believe the girl's brain is gonna say, "Yo, I'm still giving him sex, so he's no way, no how having sex with my friend."
And you're not gonna just leave someone and slow down.
But it's stopping because of medical issues,
exactly,
or it's stopping.
Both. Either it stopped because she just lost her sex drive, or it stopped because something medically happened. She can't have sex, but you need to get a nut off, and your hand ain't gonna be enough for the rest of your life.
So many things.
There's there's other questions too. So one of the leading questions would be what is the medical reason? Do I have a reason to think it's permanent?
It's just an assumption. So
again, it's just even if it is permanent or not, if it is a physical situation that does stop them from being able to have sex, but after they recover, they still don't have the drive.
Look, there's a few things here. And then I'll let me say my two pieces. So, sure, could it get better? Sure. How long have you been in this relationship? What are your feelings towards this woman? Is this a chick that you met in college?
You're in love, bro. You've been together for a while.
Like this chick could be on lockdown. This is a chick you could marry. Okay. Then I think
yes.
I would not agree with finding a side piece then. Because
No, I didn't
You
say
were
a
there
side
to
piece.
support-
I said her friend,
Well,
who she
a
knows,
friend to
who
take
she
the ball.
orchestrated.
Okay. But I mean, you get it. Side piece. It's just the terminology that's been used.
I get it.
Even if it's
but
her-
see, side
even if
piece for
it's
me
her-
is like, oh, you go
It
out
could
and find
be-
another piece on the side. Your main chick don't know
It
about
could be a girl.
Okay,
It could
fine.
be a girl who's perfectly okay with maybe you having an open relationship or polyamorous, friendly, or whatever the fuck.
But
Pick
we're
your
not talking
terminology.
about
She
that. We're
wouldn't
not
care
talking
about. She
about
wouldn't
that.
care
That's
about.
not. I mean,
Maybe
that
she
could
doesn't
be.
care.
That
if
could
she-
be the fact.
Yeah,
But
but maybe she's just
No,
open-minded.
I'm not
All
trying to
he's
have a
saying
relationship
is
with her. You just are the lady I call up to the.
Yeah,
just to get
I
you
to-
love
to go
you.
fuck
This
real
other
quick and then
person
I
is a
come home.
fuckhole. It's a cunt. It's
Yeah,
a cunt
you're my
for me to
fuckhole.
stick my cock into. It's a fucking twat.
Thank
Yes.
God we're
Sand
never
pit.
seeking
I'm
for
still saying
monetary
no.
shit
I'm
on
still saying no
YouTube.
because look, you're no, and this is maybe where
I'm just trying to fuck my girl's hot friend.
yes, I think that's 26.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm
that's
kidding, I'm kidding, I'm
26-year-old
kidding, I'm
Dan
kidding.
versus I'm 38-year-old Adam. Like,
Right. No.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, nah. Maybe if I was in my 20s,
You're
I
also
might
in a
be
happy
thinking the way you
relationship,
are.
Adam.
But like as I look at it now, I'm like, no, I really care about that. And if she's having like some medical issues, like you said, medical shit, if it's medical, and I really care about this girl, like why shouldn't I be there to support her? Like if I'm out fucking her friend and she's
You're
got
a really
medical
nice guy.
issues-
So you're
issues,
willing
Well,
to give up
facts.
sex for the rest of your life because
But-
of her medical condition that you and her can control.
It,
I
it has
cannot
to
control.
do- possibly.
medical.
I mean,
the
her mouth still
medical
works,
condition.
right?
No, hang on. The medical
Oh my
condition
God.
matters, bro. No,
Her
that's a
asshole
lot.
still
That's a
there.
lot of. That's a lot of jaw
These-
action.
that-
And I that anal prolapse. No, listen. That's gonna happen early. Look, this gonna be shit. No.
I mean, I'm gonna ask first. I'm not gonna go rape her, but the pussy's still there. I got no problem getting some
but
lube.
you're gonna
like, just
dude,
lay
you're gonna
there,
fuck her.
girl.
You're gonna be
Just-
fucking
let
that
me-
asshole.
Let me
a
just
lot,
slide
though,
in there.
bro.
real
It's
quick.
gonna be.
Your
It's gonna be
pussy's just a
stuck like a
hand to me
side.
now.
Dude, it's gonna be like parallel parking sideways in a garage. It's. You don't
Whatever.
fucking.
It's still
It's gonna be,
pussy.
dude. That's a painful fucking. Jesus, bro. I thought you were a
Nah,
nice guy.
that's what lube is
No, he's
for.
not- he's
Lube-
not
lube
nice.
Works.
Jesus Christ, bro. You fucking Irish people. Listen, I I think.
I'm telling you, if you're trying to fuck her friend, you don't care about her as much as you say you do.
No,
That's the bottom line.
I actually
There's no way you
agree
care
with
about
you
as
to
much
a
as you say
certain. I agree with you to a certain degree, but I think the medical thing needs to be examined a bit more. No, like, okay.
Well,
if it's-
I don't. I
and
specifically
also-
ask,
trying to get
especially
into
like
forensic
Brando, because I know
science and
Brando,
he's
you
like,
have a
why
high
does the
sex
pussy
drive,
not
right?
work? Like,
No, like the decline.
You
I
would
think-
particularly walk out.
No, hold on. Look. This is kind of. That's why I want to get into this, right? The decline. What does decline? If she's 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%.
He said stop.
How?
He said
well,
stop.
If it's
The
stopped,
sex stopped.
cold turkey altogether.
Stopped. It's done.
I don't think
You
I
just
would-
all of a
yeah.
sudden, every time you
if
try
it
to
just-
go to have sex with her, and there's something is up.
I don't think I would stay. I would settle. I would settle for a situation like Dan is talking about. In a situation like that where it was never coming back, right? Never coming back.
That's what I'm
permanent
talking
gone.
about.
Yeah, I would.
If
settle
you
for a
want to stay in this
situation like Dan is
relationship,
talking
if this
about.
is long term, you gotta
you know,
somebody up. You gotta give
something's
one of your friends up.
Gotta get. Well, you
gotta take
hold on. Whoa,
responsibility.
See, no, hang on. Back up. Hang on.
guys are
Hang on. No.
Christ.
Hang on.
I'm sorry.
You're gonna be single for the rest of your life.
No. Listen.
Single forever.
Listen, mate. Listen. Here's the thing.
Bachelors forever.
No, bro. Wait. Friends. That's kind of what
You guys
I think
need.
I'm
You
departing
two need to
also.
start your own podcast, Bachelor Buddies.
He said it. No. Listen,
That's
bro.
gonna be-
Friends. I don't think I'd be fucking their friends. It'd be someone else. Someone maybe in a different country. Someone far away. So I
You're
wouldn't
just
be-
trying to
me,
detach completely from this chick. You don't
No,
want
no,
any
no.
association
No,
with her friend.
I don't want.
What if
I
it's
don't
her
want.
sister, maybe your auntie.
I don't want
what
her.
if it's her hot mom?
No, I don't.
Oh, I want her hot mom.
No, I'm not doing that. I don't want to fuck anyone that she knows or anyone that we know mutually. Like, that's not my thing. I want to keep it. As
I
far
see
away
that. I would feel worse
I
doing
wouldn't- I don't-
somebody else.
Nah.
I would feel She needs to orchestrate
versus
it.
doing
she needs
somebody
to
that's
orchestrate
linked
who
to
it
the girl,
is.
to your girl.
Yes. Well, she doesn't even. Okay, let's even take out the linkage factor. Let's take out the linkage. Let's take out the friends. Let's take out the family members. If she helped me find somebody, she has to be a part of it because I want her to understand that this is what's going to pretty much keep us together. If I need to feed my active sex drive. So it's more so about, I would feel definitely worse if it was just somebody else and she didn't know about it and then I was just coming to her.
No, she's gonna know about it. It's not that she's not gonna know about it, but it's not gonna be someone linked to her. It's not gonna be her friend. It's not gonna be
Okay. I
For
got
me,
you.
it's just it has to be someone that is just it's a someone. It's a hot body.
I understand.
For me to deposit
understand.
children of a creamy nature.
Okay, so she still knows. Okay, then in that case, then that's fine.
Yeah, I mean that's.
But she has to.
Definitely.
But
here's the thing, bro.
I think there's just more
You guys
security
are on-
in no.
so
If it's
going
the
back
friend,
to
I
this
think.
video real quick. You guys are on the side of this chick then. You guys agree with what she's saying.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I agree that's an option for people
Today?
who would do well in that
Yeah,
relationship.
the video that I just played.
I don't
You guys
know
are
that
on
I
her
would
side.
do
I
well
know.
in that relationship. I might not. But I hate generalizing when it comes to this shit, bro.
I'm not in that type of
Relationships are so
relationship, so
specific
I don't know. I tried it out. Having a third, just having another woman, for her and I, but it just didn't work out. And honestly, you have to be really prepared for it. If it works out for you and you really feel like you can handle a lot of that, and I'm all for it. I'm not going to shame anybody for wanting to fuck. I actually welcome it. Like, if you can be that mentally strong and secure and all that shit to be able to see your partner fuck another person, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I give it to you. I'm a societal pig. I've been locked into the mind frame of, like, one pussy. That's why I'm asking this question, because if we are going to find ourselves in love with somebody and being with them for a long time, and you just have a high sex drive, this is just generalizing, and you have a high sex drive, you as that person who knows that you don't have the sex drive that matches the person that you want to be with so badly, you should do something. You should give in something.
I don't know. I think if your sex drive
and
goes away,
mouth
and
is
you love
not
a person,
enough.
I think, and you love a person, negotiation. If the love's there, and it's not something you want to let go of, you can negotiate. And that's pretty much what I think a relationship is. It's two people negotiating to satisfy each other's needs because they care. Usually more about that person than everyone else. So
satisfy my need by giving me the thumbs
that
up
become an open
to
relationship?
fuck somebody who has a sex drive
Is it
like
an open
me.
relationship if you start bringing or searching for more than one other female?
I would say it's an open
Like if it's
relationship.
just one other female, her friend or whatever, one other body.
Well,
else,
probably.
Is
Well,
that
if it's
just
only one, no, I don't think so. I wouldn't classify.
No.
I guess
open relationship?
I would say it's
the whole quote unquote open relationship is when you still got your wife at home
And you're going around
and you sleep
You
with
have
occasionally
sleep with
have casual sex with other people. Norm.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you could say it's a kind of open relationship, but it's just very specific.
Yes and no, but so if I were to put myself in that situation, I wouldn't want.
Okay, time out. Hold
to
on.
fuck
I
more
want to
than
keep talking
one
about this
other
just a
person.
little bit more, but I know we have a couple lady listeners out there. I need to get a female perspective here. Hit us up on the lines 844-997-0775 442-244-9900 because I got some questions. Because as a woman, if you are down and out and you want to keep your man around and keep him happy, but for whatever reason you have a medical issue or whatever, something's happened that's diminished your sex drive and you don't fuck, you don't want to, nothing, no love making, no nothing, and he wants to present to you, hey, I want to come home to you every day, I want to be with you, I want to do all the fun stuff we do, but I still need to get my dick wet every now and then. I need to be able to find another woman, whether it's your friend or it's another woman somewhere else, whatever. What does that do to that woman's mental at that point? Like, I mean, if she's throwing it out on the table, then that's understandable. But if the dude comes to her to present this to her and does it respectably, what is that doing to the female? Like, that's gotta be a fucked up thing because it's out of her control, right? Like the initial situation that you put on the table for us, Dan, was that there was some kind of medical thing, something happened, whatever it may be. That's really got to take a toll on a female, right? Like that's got to be kind of fucked up that her dude wants to go, fuck around on her, basically, kind of.
Well, I mean, it's fucked up, but I mean, this is nature. I mean,
humans are gonna do what they're gonna do, man. Unfortunately,
her sex drive, and his chick, whoever loses their sex drive, has nothing to do with the fact that
I didn't even think about it from
a
woman like a male
fucking having testicles that work really change the calculus when you're caring about this sort of thing and thinking about it, because there are people. Here's the thing. There exist couples right now that if one lost their sex drive, the other wouldn't even care. Those couples exist. And part of what probably keeps them together is their low sex drive.
That's
they
Adam.
Need a lot. They don't.
That's Adam.
I am a one person. I have no problem saying that. When I'm in a relationship, I am in a relationship.
That's not what he just said, though.
Night.
That's not what he just said.
I thought he said something about being monogamous. I may have missed.
No, he didn't.
So, sorry.
No, but he didn't say Jesus. Look,
I want to flip this. So we've talked about this, I believe, on another live or something about being able to be with someone that has another dude on the side or something like that. What if the tables were turned and this was one of us, and your lady comes to you and says, "Yo, you got ED, your dick doesn't work no more. I want to go. I love you. I want to come home with you every day. I love watching TV with you, hanging out, going to.
I'm gonna kill myself. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kill myself so you can go ahead and sleep with other.
No, whoa, wait.
See, so
hold
you're.
On. No, wait, hold on.
That's crazy,
bro. Okay. It's nuts. No, check it out. Are we talking like erectile dysfunction as a specific thing, or
your
you just
dick doesn't work? Period. It doesn't work.
So no, Viagra doesn't work. No Viagra. No Cialis.
No,
Insight. Nothing.
Same scenario as with the woman.
Same scenario.
Shit doesn't work.
All right.
No more sex.
Shit doesn't work. Never working again. All right.
And your girl comes to you and says,
something.
"Yo, I want to fuck one of your friends."
No. See that? Let me tell you. If that was the case, if I was already in a relationship, I would tell her that we are separating. I love you to death. I love you. I'm so sorry that I cannot satisfy your needs.
1,000%. 1,000%.
I will still.
Yeah.
You guys are savages.
Hang on, time out. I will still do a lot of the things that probably people in relationships do. Like, I mean, I'll still take you out and do stuff with you.
I'm gonna definitely take care of you.
But here, look, bro.
I love you, and I'm gonna take care of you.
Have to wait. Hang on. You have to understand. For some people, this isn't an everyone thing, but for a lot of people, sex is a small part, but it's an intricate, extremely important part of a relationship and what keeps things together, especially in a relationship that's romantic, right?
For men.
And for people.
But I'm saying
he just threw it back at women, right? So like women have these sex drives too.
The reason why, bro, hold on, and I'm going to explain that. There are more women. We can get more women on the line who would say that they would be totally okay with a relationship without sex over men who
Right.
would call into the show.
It's true.
And I feel like sex definitely is a bigger factor for men generally.
I'll give you that.
And
I'll give you that.
that's why we have the answers that we
I agree
have.
with that.
I'll give you that. Definitely. Fuck
You know,
it.
that's why
Like,
we
whatever
have you and I feel the
testosterone
way that we do
imbalances and trannies.
if our sex drive were to fucking fail and our chick wanted to fuck like a jackrabbit.
But it's
Right.
just
We
it's
would
just
never
crazy that
feel
in your
good.
scenario, if you're fully in love with this woman, and
Oh.
she says the pussy doesn't work anymore.
I'd rather
wanna
leave
go
her
find
before
somebody
she
else.
left me.
No,
Because
I mean, it's not about.
they're-
It's not about. Look, go have sex, enjoy yourself. When you want to do some shopping, when you want to go to some amusement parks, when you go to rock climbing stuff, I can do. Let's come back and do it. But there's something again that's really important to her, obviously, in a romantic relationship where it's actually her going out needing sex and I can't provide it. She obviously needs that, and I can't give it to her. So
I can't
let's
give it
not
to her.
engage in it.
I can't stay around.
And it also doesn't mean that I
it's a
don't
pride
love
thing
her.
for men, though. Is it
Or-
not?
I guess it's partly.
Is that a pride
I
thing,
guess
or is that?
I think it is pride for most men. Yeah. Me personally, I don't feel like it's pride. I feel like if my nuts just don't work, they just don't fucking work. Viagra's not working. Nothing's working. Maybe invest in science, but it's not. It's just a fact of life. Really. It's honestly just like being blind at that point, right? Some medical condition has.
You got to find a workaround, right? You just find a
Somebody's
fucking
gotta-
workaround.
Unless you're with a chick who just doesn't need sex like that.
Let's go to the
She'll be
phone
like,
lines. We got a
okay.
caller that wants to chime in on this. Yo, you're live.
Hello. So you mentioned earlier that if a guy comes to his girlfriend because she's having the medical issue, how a woman would feel.
Yeah.
I know for me, if my dude came up to me and I'm in a monogamous relationship with him and he says, yeah, I want to look outside the box, I'd probably feel rejected. It would make me feel really sad and inadequate.
If you couldn't give me pussy anymore?
If I couldn't give you pussy anymore and it was something that we hadn't actually like talked about mutually,
Let's talk about it.
and you said, I want to go out and fuck my friend.
Again, and so we did say we were going to talk about it. I want you to spearhead the whole thing. You just need to be open to me having some pussy if your sex drive falls.
No,
I think initially I would feel inadequate and like I wasn't good enough.
I don't
Like,
think
he
there's
didn't
nothing.
love me
I don't think there's
anymore.
anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with feeling inadequate, especially initially, like or even later. Like feeling inadequate is perfectly normal. I think anyone would feel a degree of inadequacy, especially if they enjoyed what they used to share, right? Something important, and it's something like Dan said that's linked to pride, right? So you're gonna feel inadequate, but the question is, can you see past that to, I guess, let's just say the
Let it
reality
happen.
of the situation?
Let your dude do what he's got to do.
I think eventually I probably could, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would be sad. And I would
Yeah, it's
need like
depressing.
an
I'd be
extra
sad my nuts
layer
didn't work.
from my partner of love and attention just so that I
That's
know
why it needs
that
to be a
you're
friend
not
that
gonna
you
leave
love
me
and
for this new
trust.
bitch.
That's why I want the friend that you love and trust, because you can always know that she's going to tell you what's popping. You could always, you know what I'm saying? She's just
Doesn't
a
that-
fuckhole for
Okay,
me.
wait. Let me.
She's my little
to
cum
our caller.
bucket.
Doesn't that make you now look at your friend a little bit different? The fact that she's willing.
Nah,
to
she
sleep
loves
with
her.
your-
Have respect for her. She's fucking your man. She's taking care of him because you can't.
Man.
Hey,
Come on.
I'll put it this way. Look, they're
like,
friends and they're
if I were-
friends.
Yeah. See, Brando knows. Brando knows. Brando knows.
Depends on the
Go ahead and finish your comment. Go ahead and finish your segment.
Like, if I were to agree to it and you were to have sex with my friend, and my friend was, a quote-unquote suckhole, I would want certain measures to be played. A, STD test. B, like birth control or protection of some sort, and all of that. Because if I do want to have sex with you, I want to know that I'm not going to get anything.
Right.
My protection is 3, 2.
Well, hey, we appreciate your comments on that. We're going to go. We got another call.
You're so welcome. All right, thank you, guys.
That's wonderful.
You guys are crazy. All right, let's go. Yo.
First of all, you can get pregnant from the pull-out method, so please don't listen to the hood rat from Jersey.
You just got to count down right.
Wrong.
How do you think NASA did it?
She said the hood rat.
How do you think NASA did it?
He did.
One of them Jersey rats.
You need another 7 astronauts.
You are an astronaut. Anyway.
You put the ass in astronaut.
For me, no, I don't. I have a
curtain
little
of
ass.
gray hair. It's like a milkshake on the sidewalk.
That's a milkshake.
I'm sorry.
I
Who is this?
dated, so I have reached the point in life. I've reached the point in my life because I have given so much and given very selflessly in relationships that I'm like, yo, when am I gonna get some of that? But for me, if this was going to be arranged, that's fine. I definitely agree with Reese, wherein I would feel a bit of that rejection, but I would definitely have to call the shots. I would have to be the one to call the shots. If you wanted to fuck somebody else, that's fine. But when you get home, you have to spoil me rotten. You have to.
Can I also just come on the bridge of your fucking nose? Can I say this? Can I put the mushroom head of my fucking dick right on the side of your nose and just let go like a torn water main?
So I want to bring this up. Do you guys believe that women who say
the mouth still works?
But hold on. I was about to ask that. I'm so glad you said that. My question for women who say that that's enough, that if they love you, they're totally okay with just fingers and tongue and all that shit. How long does that last? If you have a high sex drive and I can't pleasure you with this dysfunctional fucking dick, how long does that last? That doesn't last for women. I don't believe women would last long on that.
I would rather be eaten out than almost anything else, and I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Really?
I think that's bullshit.
Yes.
For the rest of your life?
When you don't have it in a relationship, when you don't have it, it changes you. It really
for the rest of your life, though?
Go get yourself a pop can and sit on it.
But they expect you to suck your dick.
Have you ever put anything wider than a cucumber in you?
Yeah, no, it's wonderful.
Yes. Why do you ask?
Then you don't.
Jesus.
Because you don't. You don't.
No.
The fact that you're admitting that you would be totally okay with being eaten out for the rest of your life.
Hold on. What was that? What happened when that went in you? Whatever was wider than the cucumber. What'd you do?
We'll get to that on another one.
Because I didn't say
another call.
We got another caller.
Get out of here.
Appreciate you.
All right.
That's wonderful. We'll get to that on another episode.
Oh my shit.
I'll note that down.
We lost her.
That's for the CP after hours. Cerebral palsy after hours.
Cerebral palsy. Yes. Yeah. The quiet stuff. Call back.
I think we
caller.
lost the other
What
caller. I
happened?
think it was
That's unfortunate.
Emily. Emily, if you're still listening, feel free to call back. Sorry about that.
Oh,
I may have
Emily.
My bad. But no, thank you for the calls, ladies. Definitely appreciate that. Different perspective. I think that was a different perspective. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to get that feedback because
Watermelon juice.
as the question was presented, I think it, solid question, but what then becomes the mental side of the woman?
I obviously there's a thing that's played there of not feeling like, well, if she's gonna fuck him, I'm not good enough. And it's like, no, and I think that's why I emphasize a lot of the time that I want her to have the say, because ultimately if she has the say, she's given the thumbs up.
Yeah, this
see
is what
what
we
I'm
do,
saying?
right? This is what we do, right? I'm gonna go to Europe. I'm gonna go to a place where prostitution is legal. I'm gonna line up like 8 of the hottest ones, and she gets to pick which one.
And you gotta pick. Let's make a game show out of it, baby. I'll make a radio bit.
You can fucking pick.
All right, we got our
You
caller
can even.
back. Let's go.
Oh.
Emily is back. Yo,
Yeah,
you're live.
take the call.
Emily.
Hello.
Emily.
Oh, there we go. Hi.
Yeah, hey, you talking to that thing?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry. It accidentally dropped. I accidentally dropped it. So.
Oh, good. See,
Cool.
it wasn't on me, assholes.
No.
Oh, wow, this time. Everybody give it up. Mark it on the fucking calendar. On International Women's Day, he didn't fuck up. Go ahead.
I mean, he only had 23 hours
so
to
we're
do it versus 24.
we're talking about I don't know if you heard a lot of the conversation, but we're talking about pretty much if your partner or if your sex drive slowed down, would you be okay spearheading a partner or somebody for your boyfriend or whatever to have, so that you guys can stay together, so that the relationship can stay and last? If you're years in, suddenly it decreases.
Well, you said you didn't say decreases. You said stopped. It's not. Nothing's there.
Or
You
stops.
don't-
Okay, it's if it stops.
your-
If it stops.
Your womb is now
I'm
dry
sorry.
and sterile.
Yeah, you're dry.
now
I
too.
can't get in there.
The womb
You are a
is doomed.
you are a cement grade.
Yeah, the womb of doom.
You are a
The womb of
casket
doom and
shut.
gloom. Well, first of all, that's hard to it's like, oh my gosh, like for me, that's just so hard to imagine happening, and I hope it never ever does.
Well, good for
But-
you.
I guess, yeah, I know. I think if anything, we'd have the opposite problem where I would be the one like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I'm feeling deprived. But
This is common now.
I don't know. I guess if we were years in, like at that point, ideally you've established a lot of trust and love and things like that. I guess I wouldn't rule out. I think my brain, as it stands right now, I don't like to share. I would be.
Give me a friend.
I would be
Give me a
kind of
friend. Somebody you love and trust.
Exactly. Like, and I think I think at that, in a situation like that, yeah. I mean, I think that I could see myself being open to that for the sake of saving the relationship overall, because it's made out of more than that, but that's an important component, most definitely.
Oh, see, she knows.
But
See,
what-
we need more women like that.
But
Honesty, honesty.
when your man comes to you and says, "Honey, I love you and care about you, but your vagina no longer works, and I need to put my wiener somewhere. I want one of your friends."
I need to cream batter another roll.
No.
does that
Okay, hold on. Adam. Let's back up a second.
Take on your mental stuff.
Not just, I want one of your friends. Pick one and give it to her. Give her to me.
Lab coat. Jesus Christ.
You get
No,
it.
I didn't
One
say
that
that.
you trust and that is close.
But
or whatever,
more
you
so,
have full faith.
hey, I definitely need to get my pee-pee wet. How can we do this? Other than your mouth.
This is rhetoric. I mean, the way you approach it is a lot more tender, obviously.
Oh, sure.
Especially if you want your
Yeah.
woman to actually agree and to think that you care.
But as
yeah.
another caller said, as a woman, you may feel rejected by that or put out. Like, is that not?
And I mean,
well, I'm gonna
knowing my personality. Like, I think that I would feel like I know. Okay, right now in my life, hell yeah, I would feel self-conscious about that. I would feel rejected by that. Down the line, though, I don't know. I mean, I would like to think down the line I would be a more pragmatic person in that regard and not be part of the overthinkers club and not feel so.
Okay, so I want to focus on this because I want to make this very clear. I would assume that at this point, because obviously if it stops, I've had to notice over a period of time. It has to have not only have happened over a period of time, but I've had to have a conversation with you or two about it. Up to this point, no,
Right.
Hey, you agree. I am having a problem. Hey, I'm not having sex with you. Hey, I'm not doing these things. And so now you're coming from that position of, okay, we've already talked about this. You're already open to the fact that you can't give me what I need because we've already had conversations about it. So now what do? I'm gonna assume and hope that relationships are open enough in all sincerity, because I'm making a lot of jokes and having a lot of fun with this topic, but more so to anything, you need to have that point already driven home. She needs to know. You can't just come out of nowhere and be like, yo, your sex drive lacked. You stopped having sex with me 2 months ago. Now I got to fuck one of your friends. No, in these 2 months, you had to talk about, you had to talk about, yo,
without a
things have slowed
performance
down.
review.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But guys, I don't think, like, let's not get caught up in the whole idea that jealousy is something that happens. If you're not jealous, then you're about, a person that's fucking your mate or touching something like, then something's probably been altered. It's a normal thing. Jealousy is perfectly normal. It's okay. It's even healthy, arguably. Like, jealousy is a thing. It's what you do with it that matters. You know what I mean? Are you immature about it? Do you handle it well? Do you contemplate things? Can you make good decisions while being jealous? Or is your jealousy like some sort of blinding thing that makes you want to attack people with vehicles? Like,
right?
There's a spectrum there, right? I don't think it's like some sort of black or white thing. But yeah, of course, it's perfectly human to feel inadequate at first. Even if no one ever. If I wasn't able to have sex with like a partner anymore, like, and they come to me, even before they say anything about finding someone else, I'm gonna feel inadequate anyway, because I know that their sex does work. You know what I mean? Like, so far as we know, she's fine. I'm not. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, like, that's the thing, and I care about her, and I want her needs to be met, and I can't do it anymore. So someone else obviously will need to.
Right.
Or something else.
Thank you, Emily. You're fucking great.
Thank you so much. Call in
I hope I can come back again.
Yeah. I think you reached out to us
You're
about doing a
always welcome.
roundtable with us at some point. So we're still trying to put that out put that together. So.
Oh, dude, if we can get her on the panel with my friend Patricia, and all these fucking broads with murder. I want to find one more funny.
I would love
outspoken fucking woman.
that so
So
much.
Awesome. Thanks for the call again, Emily.
Tip drill.
take care. Yeah, nigga,
Thank
swipe the
you,
credit card,
ladies,
baby.
Everybody that called in. Thanks for everybody.
Swipe the
that
credit
called
card in that ass. You know what I mean? How much you charge? Swipe.
Excuse me. But see, people, see how easy it is to call? That's what we want. We need that conversation. So be a good little listener and give us a call more often. Share your comments, thoughts, whatever questions. Help drive the show a little bit for us and keep the show moving in the right direction. Hit that subscribe and notification buttons on the YouTube channel so we can get those subscriptions up. Check out the Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, everywhere at CPPod100. And, man, good show today, fellas. Appreciate you guys.
That was a good one. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. And for all those that watched, thank you so much all across YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. We couldn't do this fucking podcast without you on the real.
Yes, sir.